Hey, what's going on? We should be live. Okay, yeah, we're live. By the way, sorry for the weird audio. I'm using this camera for technical reasons. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Hey, Octopus. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Alexa. Lucky I don't have an Alexa device here. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna paint this thing here. Let me test. Just make sure you can hear anything at all. It's just a bit of an inconvenience to... Yeah, we're good. The audio is decent. Okay, that's good. It's just a bit of an inconvenience to switch between the mic and the... whatever. It's an easier setup, so we're going with the inferior camera audio today. Actually, I have a bit of a stomach ache, so I don't know, if it gets worse, we may have to cut this one early today. I hope that's not the case. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna paint this boat right here. I'm gonna take you to the table in a second and we'll get started. Hey John, how are you? I saw your email, by the way. I will reply. I just wanted to get a moment to have some time to properly address everything you wrote. But thank you so much for that. Hey, hope you're doing well. Hey Margarita. Hey Hillel, how are you? Hey Laura. Hey Pam, hey Stacy, thank you so much for being here, really appreciate it. I thought we'd do a painting demo today, it's been a while. Didn't have any, hey Richard, didn't have any topic I really wanted to discuss. You know, if I don't have something specific I want to say, I think a painting demo can go a bit of a long way in that regard. Get well. Thank you, Octopus. Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know. It's just a weird. I don't know. Stomach's a little upset, but it's gonna be fine. Annalise Ford. Hey, how are you doing? It is indeed. It has been a long time. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I remember seeing you in almost every live stream. So we're probably busy. Oh, you also had a stomach ache. To be fair, I have a lot of these when I'm usually nervous, but this is different. This is purely like just physical annoying. Hey, Anne. Hey, Marjorie. Good afternoon indeed here. Bruh, man, just started my paintings. It's not turning out well. Yeah, it's fine. Takes a bit of getting used to watercolor, actually. Where was I? Movie check. Hey, how are you? From Montenegro. Happy to catch another live. Yeah, thank you for being here. David. Good morning from Alabama. When I see it in my font, it looks like Good Mom. Maybe it is Good Mom. I don't know. Kathleen, good morning. Liron, good morning. Artists, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll probably... Yeah, that's a good idea. After the stream, I'll drink some tea. Oh, I forgot my water. I'll get it later. Hillel, asks if I will do another critique live stream. Yes, I will do another painting critiques. Yes. Not sure when, but it will happen. Sungun, hey, how are you doing? Aduska, hi from Poland. Jill, hey, hope you're doing well. Love the frog. So we're gonna probably switch scenes, and I'll actually go grab my water. It'll take a second, and we'll get started. I didn't do any sketching. We'll do everything together, I guess. Let's see. So, and we'll get started. I didn't do any sketching. We'll do everything together, I guess. Let's see. So this is the other angle. Let's organize. Let's move the chat somewhere around here. Chat's not gonna be as prominent in this setup, but that's fine. I'm just gonna grab my water. There I am on the other camera. Give me a second. Thought Ruth may grace us with her appearance. You can hear me right on that other angle. Let me make sure sound's going through. Oopsie doopsie. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, it's decent enough. Okay. Gonna get some paper. There we go. I got my reference and I'll zoom in a second here. Go ahead and do that. I'll shut my phone. Okay, so this is actually a big piece of paper. We're gonna work on half that size. What I like to do lately, I just fold it and cut it. The super lazy method for cutting the paper, which I find really funny. Yeah, you can see me well. It's good. It's good. Let me maybe rotate it just a tiny bit. There we go. Let me bring up my reference photo here. And we'll get started. I also probably should bring up the live stream. Okay, there we go. Got my ref. Let me bring up the live stream so I'll actually see your comments. Good. There we go. Oh, there's a delay between the audio and video. That's strange. That shouldn't happen. Let me check for a second. It can be a little annoying if that happens. Yeah, that's strange. I have no idea why that happens. I have no idea. Should I pause it and then continue? I'm not sure. You know what? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint this. Gotta change the angle. Go ahead and paint this. Gotta change the angle. Yeah, I don't know why there's a delay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paint. Worst case, look here on the desk. Don't look at my face so that you won't see the delay. My apologies. Maybe it will work itself out later. We haven't had that in a while. I don't know what the deal is. Haven't had it in the last live stream, but that's fine. Maybe it will work itself out. If it's... Yeah, it's only that camera. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the camera, though. It's probably the angle. But in any case, I think we'll get started. Let me zoom in a bunch more. There we go. I think that's good. Let me know if it's really unbearable. Hey Lisa, hey Monica, hey Team FT. It's been a while. Watercolor sketchbook dedicated to my vacation of 3 weeks, which starts in 10 days. I would like to end the vacation with a completed sketchbook. Any tips? Yeah, just paint. That's the thing. Just do it every single day. You're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a great experience. That's what I would do. Hey, let's see, who else did I miss? Hey, Zenful Painter. Yeah, it's a really nice reference photo. I think the size is large enough so you can see it. And of course, we're gonna have some nice plays of temperature here. I would like to figure out, okay, let's do this. I want to be able to see both the chat and the reference photo. It's on my Mac, you know, just one monitor. I'm so used to working with more than one. Oh yeah, there we go, we're good. Okay, hey Raymond, how are you? So let's get started with the drawing. We'll see where it goes, how it, hopefully things improve. Oh, one thing I haven't solved yet. Well, let me check 1 second. I do want to try and solve this. I'm still learning this stuff. Let's see here, filters, audio, video. If you give me a second. No, that's not good. It's not good. I just want to bring up the exposure, and I have no idea how to do that. Worst case, we'll just deal. But I had that solved. I don't know why it doesn't work now. Sorry, that's going to be a super tech issue live stream. Let's do... no, that's not good. Yeah, Octopus, that sounds really fun. And don't be too harsh on yourself. You know, whatever comes out of it is fine. The whole idea of a sketchbook is really to have fun and explore your creation, you know. Okay, I'll have to probably figure it out some other time. Oh yeah, I found it. I'm an idiot. There we go. I don't know if it will work. Yeah, I had an issue the last time too. Okay, whatever. We'll leave it at that. It's not gonna be the brightest video. I just usually edit those, you know, in post, but that's fine. So we will just get to it, I think. So starting with the scene itself, I did crop it, so I think a little better setup than the original one. And I will go by that crop. The original photo, if you actually are gonna visit the link, looks just a tiny bit different. So I'm gonna mark it up here. This is gonna be where the horizon sits. Sorry, this new setup still confuses me, so getting used to it. I think I know why there's a delay. I think I figured it out. I think I know. The delay is in my camcorder, actually. Let me test it out for a second. Let's use this opportunity because I want to test it out. Okay, let's try something. Sorry, I'm experimenting on you, because I do want to figure this one out. So if I add audio capture, audio input capture, and we're going to use the, oh wait. Okay, we'll figure it out, don't worry. So it's going to be the Logitech. Okay, we'll figure it out, don't worry. So it's going to be the okay. I'll have to test it out for a second because I'm not sure how the quality is going to be. So wait with me for a second here. And then we'll figure it out. I just want to get rid of that annoying delay. Figure out how it will work. There you go. You'll have duplicate audio, but I think it should work. So now, if I'm here, let's test the delay. Sorry for the silence. That's me trying to see what's going to happen now. Yeah, we're good. There's no delay now. Okay, sorry for that. That was hell of annoying, but here we go. There may be a delay with what's going on paper. You'll forgive me, that's as much as I can troubleshoot while streaming. We'll just get to it. So ground, I'm gonna completely remove that dock. I don't care about it at all. So boat starts somewhere around here, and it will end somewhere around here, so that I have some kind of an envelope to work with. And then for the lowest part of the boat, where the shadow is going to be, it's going to be somewhere around here, close to the edge. You can see it close to this edge, this edge. That's the bottom of the shadow. Now we'll find some kind of a center point, so that'll be something like that. And I'll zoom in on my reference now. Yeah, thank you, Hillel. Sorry about that. That was annoying. I think it's because my I changed my camera to a 4K setting. I think that's what's causing the delay. And I don't stream in 4K anyway, so it doesn't matter. So it's just a silly thing. I'll be ready for next time. I'll change the settings so that it's not on 4K. It'll probably solve it because I think that's what caused it. So usually that's how these things are solved, honestly. Now, I wanted to show you the drawing process on purpose, so you'll have to bear with me. There we go. Okay, now I see everything properly. So we have this top line. Now this starts almost flat, and then it curves up. So we get this kind of a structure. I hope you can see my pencil lines. It looks like they are quite visible, so that's fine. And then from here, I'm gonna drop a line over down to there. This is gonna just mimic what's going on, only in the reflection. And then of course we have the actual other side of the boat. It's gonna be very flat, like so. And we're gonna obviously see some of the inside, but not too much actually. So we'll have it like that. Horizon, I do see some, mountains. We'll figure that thing out. Something like so. Yes, so when I'm using 100% cotton paper, this is Saunders Waterford. So the way I'm gonna approach this is probably with a very wet first wash that's gonna cover everything. I'll actually have a similar video to share with you in the future. We'll start, so this is what we'll do. We'll start with red, then we'll go a bit yellow, gray, blue, okay? I think that'll be a good way to start this. Now let's add just a few more details to the drawing so that I have something more to rely on. My feeling that this should go a little lower, maybe down to here. We're gonna have a dark section close to the base. That's a very common thing. We're gonna have some ripples here. We'll figure that out in the next washes. And then we'll have some of the rope going through here. Like that. Not. And just falling into the water. And I think we're good. So that's how we'll do it. Now, this should be a little higher, like so. Yeah, and I think we'll start the first wash here. So, I'm gonna clean my palette, believe it or not. Today's clean palette day. I don't need the cools and I don't need the warms. I want to have a bit more control here as I get started. There we go. And we can start introducing, now it's going to be fairly muted reds anyway, but we'll start introducing them. Now the key here, at least at this stage for me, and I know you can't see the palette, let me zoom out a bit. So the key for me here at least is very wet paint. You see it really moves with gravity. And I need it. I'm not even, I'm not even taping this. I'm just gonna hold it like that because I really want to be able to play around with the angle. Now we'll add a bit of yellow and a tiny bit of blue because we do need to keep this somewhat under our control. I'm gonna need more paint, probably. If I really want to rely just on this mix, I'm gonna need a bit more paint. Sorry, my chair is squeaking. I hope that's not too distracting. And we're ready to go. So I'm actually gonna start with a bit of yellow here. I now see there's a bit of that, a hint. And we'll try getting a relatively smooth wash here, as smooth as we can. The way I do this is by not, pretty much not varying the wash too much here. Now as we get to this point, I'm gonna go back to some of our yellow, some water. Still careful, because if now we're coming back with too much wetness, we may end up with a mess on our hands, so we don't want that. So you just take your time, but you keep feeding the wash in hopes
to create a smooth one. Now, as we get down to here, I'm going to continue with the yellow around the center, because that part of the boat really is kind of a nice golden yellow. We'll later on add the blues, so I'm not too worried about that, but I am worried about the water. The water needs to start becoming a little more blended, a little more towards the gray. So the way to achieve this is to create an orange, add a bit of blue, and start really graying this out ever so slightly, okay? And we're gonna continue to push the wash down, and as we push it lower and lower, we're gonna feed it with a bit more blue. Just a bit more blue. Until the blue becomes really dominant in the mix. Sorry, couldn't talk, had to feed the left side of that shadow. I'm actually gonna paint a very similar scene. I'm gonna add a bit of phthalo there, just for variety's sake. I'm actually gonna paint a very similar scene in one of next week's videos. You'll see a similar process. I actually shared it on Instagram. And the paint here is quite strong, so it takes a few tries to really, cover all the gaps. I'm gonna make use of this still bit of wet wash to strengthen the bottom a bit. Because I'm using quite a thick paint there, I can do that. I'm not trying to create ripples per se, just trying to darken some of the bottom. And we will probably let this dry. Let this dry naturally, read some of your comments and questions, and then we'll continue, move on to the next stages. It's a bit confusing now because you see this is a little darker than this part. It should be darker, but it's just set up because I really needed a warm shadow there. Hopefully I won't have to go over the water at all anymore, because I did try and push them to be quite dark. Maybe just here up top, just for the reflections. I really hope I won't have to do anything besides that. Well, but we'll see though. Adrian, hi, in terms of value, do you aim for the final value of the colors, or do you intend to have other wash afterwards? Yes, of course, there will be the washes for the shadows on the boat itself, on the inside of the boat, a lot more shadows. The main difference is here the reason I went back into this area is not necessarily to darken it, it's just to remove some of the coolness there and switch it up with a bit of warmth. That's why I did it. While it was still wet in the first wash. That was the main reason. So yeah. Patio, stressing me out with this wash. Yeah, these washes are a little stressful. You have to work fast sometimes. Missed a bit of the French ochre talk. Elias, yes, cleaning the palette. Cholan, hey, how are you? Bear witness that there's no god. Okay, I thought you were going to say bear witness to Liron cleaning the brush, to cleaning the palette, because that would have been extremely funny. What is the... Yeah, I'm not sure which French ochre you refer to. There's a less saturated yellow ochre, French ochre, at least that's the hype description, is supposed to be more... Yeah, I think I got a chance to try it out, but I don't think I liked it. There are very few ochres that I actually enjoy. I'm gonna go back and see what other things I missed. And you see the paper dries quite flat. The one thing, if you're gonna start drying it with a hairdryer, it's gonna curl up. So you kind of better to give it some time to dry, like that. Oh yeah, that's how we got to it. Tim FT asks, which blue can I mix yellow ochre with and not get green? Small, less saturated yellow ochre. Yeah, the answer to me is to have that intermediary of gray. If I have a stage where the blue, red, and yellow are of equal parts, usually what tends to happen is you get a nice transition. No green, no green here. Show you a bit more zoomed in, right? There's no green here. It's just a gray. That's how I do it, at least. This is something I've been asked about a lot. I actually have a video on it specifically to avoid green skies. I think I wrote it. You may want to check that out. Anyways, I tried to zoom and do tech stuff last night and decided to stick with painting. Yep, much more fun. Like painting is demanding of attention enough as it is. We have to think about all the other things. It can be tiring. I wonder if the bow of the boat might be a good place to see in blue. Oh, yeah, that's interesting, because this is a really kind of pure, nice cyan-ish blue. I'll have to give it a try and see. It's one of the colors I haven't gotten to yet, Marjorie, and thank you so much for sending me everything. Yeah, it's one of the colors I haven't gotten to yet, but I'll get to it. Hey, Shivansh, how are you? Valerie, hi from Italy, cool. Raymond, hey again. Unsure about what size and number of pages. Oh yeah, we talked about the sketchbook. Yeah, okay, I think we got it. Oh, hey, Ellen from Portland, Oregon. Thank you for being here as always, much appreciated. Stephanie from Northern Illinois, thank you so much. Sarah's from, right, maybe Sarah S.A. from Texas, thank you for being here once again. Let me know, by the way, anyone here who watched the Patreon exclusive video, let me know if you liked it. I did receive some comments, so I'm happy about that. Tessie Morning from Massachusetts, hey. Yeah, okay, that's where we got to previously. So let's talk a bit about strategy as it starts to reach the final kind of stages of drawing. What I'm going to focus on, obviously, is the boat. I'm going to probably start here with the inside, define that beautiful, beautiful blue. After that, we may do some fun work on the rail here. I may rotate pre-wet and add shadows underneath and to the sides to make a feeling of shininess. But I really wanted to find that nice deep blue in the middle there. The darks here as well. I'll try painting the inside in one go if possible. And then we'll move on to this side, starting with a very thin wash and then slowly darkening as we move to the right. And if we can, it'll be great to combine it with the shadow underneath. It's always a challenge, but we'll try. So you almost look at this entire thing as one big shape. That's always a challenge. I really like how the ripples, I wasn't even really intending for it to look like ripples, but I think it kind of works out nicely. Why did you not wet the paper first? Yeah, try it out with wetting the paper, report to me what you get. The problem with wetting the whole paper, okay, when you paint, I don't think I ever really explained it that way, so it will be good. I have this video, wet on dry versus wet on wet, kind of starts to dive deeper into that, but not fully. The difference when you paint wet on dry, it's almost like you know what you're gonna get. You know, as you see the color, what it's gonna look like on paper. That's a very common phenomenon. Now, when you start doing wet and wet, first all the paint is dispersed more easily. It moves everywhere. It's very hard to isolate this area, for example, to be just yellow. You'll get a lot of the red moving into it, a lot of the blue, all sorts of things. You run the risk of them happening. When it's wet on dry, you have one risk, and that is for things to dry unevenly. Some will say a big risk, and I would agree. But other than that, you know what you're going to get. The way you place it, that's how you're going to see it. That's the big advantage of wet on dry. Wet and wet, on the other hand, you're really opening it up. Yes, you probably will get a smoother result, but yes, it will be hard to maintain each color's independence in the area where it lays. Now, you could do a lot of things to help out, like you could rotate this entire thing, wet it, and then go from top to bottom. You have less risk of downward movement, right? You can do a lot of things, and that's for you and me to explore. It could be interesting to do this painting and try work it this way or that way or just completely freely. I find that for these particular washes, what works best for me is the more direct wet on dry approach, as long as I mix enough, and you saw me really mixing enough. Now the real pressure begins here, because if I do aspire to have this as dark as necessary, which I think I have gotten it as dark as I want it to be, so no next wash, finally graduated from that's been working out for me lately really well. But if I want to, that's where you start getting into trouble and danger. Yes, when you get to this lower section, you have to work really, really fast. Luckily for us, there isn't a lot going on there, so I could just continue the wash. There's a bit of a small thing here we can fix very easily. And this is almost ready. It's still a little cold to the touch. I can do the last kind of mile with the hair dryer. But let's look at some more of your comments. We'll see. Maybe we can just let it fully dry naturally. Yes, it is generally to have more control on the color flow. You pretty much answered it in a succinct way. Barbara, finally made it, but late. My usual watercolor class not on today, so finally remember to check in with you. Thank you so much. What is it? Where do you where or in what constellation do you do it? Let me know. I'm curious. Adrian Farr, how is that the blue and yellow don't become green? Yes, we talked about it a bit a second ago. That's because I have a medium stage. I can show you here on a separate piece of paper. I have a medium stage where I gray it out. So if I start with a red or yellow, doesn't really matter, right? So red, let's say I switch over to a bit of yellow. Now to switch over to blue, first off, I don't know, let's test it out. What will happen if we just put the blue? See, I think that looks great. I don't really see green there because I didn't let them mix too much. Now if you really want to let them mix, so let's say you start with a bit more red. Let's see what happens. Then sometimes you just got to test these things out. Now we add onto that red a bit of yellow, a bit more yellow, a bit more yellow, a bit more yellow. Let's say we get to a clean yellow, right? And then we'll start adding more blue. We'll get a green for sure, right? So the way I approach this is between the yellow and the blue, I'm gonna have let's do a French ultramarine thing here. I'm gonna have a middle section that is gray. Sometimes I'll buffer it with just water. So if you come back with a bit of a clean brush, you can sometimes get away with it, right? But I'll just have a middle section that kind of is a gray. See? That's a good buffer to have to avoid that kind of a thing. Now my colors are always organic, so I'll always have a bit of all three, which is why I don't have that problem. So my red always has a bit of blue and yellow in it. Then my yellow will also have a bit of blue and red in it. And lastly, even my blue is not going to be a fully pure blue, so I don't run into that issue. It all kind of works together, even if I kind of spray on it. See? We'll let it move a bit. Of course, this is an extreme example. Now, if you have a clear cut like here, you don't have any problems. Okay? If you start mixing them, yes, you will get a green. But the way you get rid of that green is by adding a bit of red into it, making it a gray. I hope that answers it. This is a very common question. I have a video on it, by the way. How do you achieve a desaturated yellow ochre for buildings? It's just a gray. You know, buildings aren't this mysterious, they don't have a mysterious yellow that you need to mix the exact version of. It is just a gray that's a little warm. So right now I have a green on the palette. I'll add a bit of red. And it will turn gray. And I can push that gray to be a little more yellow. I can push it to be lighter. I can push it to be more warm with a bit of red as well. It's nothing mysterious, it's just a bunch of grays. The grays need to look right in the context of the painting. As long as they do, you're good. You know, I'm thinking if I have something here I can just grab and show you that's relevant. I believe I don't. But I have plenty of these kinds of paintings, you know. Yeah, Adrian, happy this helps in a way. Hey, Linda, thank you for being here. Yeah, okay, so let's do the last final stretch. I'm gonna dry it with a hair dryer, so I'm gonna mute so that I don't destroy anyone's ears. So give me just a second. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but the way I showed it, let me do it one more time just on the other side. Sorry about that. The way I showed it is, as soon as I start drying, it starts to buckle, right? And then you can see a bit of waviness. But then as soon as I flip it and do the other side, it flattens back to the other side. Again, if I go over it, sorry, I'm gonna do it from afar. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying, just didn't feel like getting up and muting again. But that's pretty much the way I approach these. Now, if you get a bit of buckling, you can always tape just a bit. Now we care less about the flow, so I can just go ahead and tape the corners. Now this does mean I don't have as much freedom to move the painting around. That's the trade-off there. That's part of it. But here we go. And we'll start working on the inside of the boat. Now the good news is this here is a much more limited area. So we can really take our time, work a little slower. That's the most easygoing part of the painting. Hey Deborah, hope you're doing well. Definitely better late than never. So I think I'll aim for that kind of a blue inside. That's the one that I think I have the best, kind of closest version of. Now I'm using quite a strong color here, clean and strong blue, because I'm painting over yellow. So I want to make sure the blue totally overpowers the layer underneath. And let's see what it ends up looking like. Okay, I may be wrong there, but we'll see. Now, let's actually close this gap off. It's going to be just like that. Now look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip it and mix a darker. I'm going to also flip the photo on my monitor. Just using some neutral tint, because I want to start feeding it a darker black, but I don't want it to move too much up there. So I'm flipping, that's how I do it. We also have a thin highlight there, so I'm just gonna kind of follow my instinct, see what happens. That's usually what serves me the best in these kinds of processes. Keeping the angle a little like that. I really want the dark paint to stay low. And then I am going to strategically close this gap in a few, again, select locations with a bit of an orangey kind of warm color. It can be quite strong because we're working real close to a black color. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to place the paint in. We'll see if it provides the feel we're after. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if you take something from it, you see me reversing, rotating the painting that can really help. Now, sometimes you'll get something that doesn't look exactly the same, but looks good. That's honestly the best thing I can ask for. And it's still just a little bit wet, so I'm going to use this opportunity to straighten out some lines and feed it once again with a very dark black color. Still not flipping this because I actually see a bit of shadow right here behind. So we can define that as well. We'll probably stop here for now. The rest is going to be the lower part of the wash. I'm curious to see what it looks like, but I don't want to flip it, so we can do this. Still keep it at its angle, aim down. I really want to control how much this moves down. So there's not too much we can do yet. For the and I can just kind of go like this, wave it around a bit. To FTE, all right, so I think a bit of red will do the trick. Yes, if you have a bit of all three primary colors, you'll get a gray, and that helps to bridge the gap. So yeah. This is almost dry. I really just don't want to take risks with it. Let's see if I can catch the light and show you. There we go, see? When that happens, you definitely don't want to go like this, because then all the remaining wetness is going to flow right into our blue. And then for the rest of it, we're just going to paint it top to bottom normal, as we would normally. Let me just help it out a bit, okay? Just a bit. Hopefully that's not too loud. And we can flip it over. Now we got this nice little effect. The rest we're going to bridge with the next wash. So now, in thinking how to approach this next wash, I'm going to try something out. We'll see how it'll work. So I'm going to very cleanly apply some paint here over the entire ledge, actually. I need this color to be bright and not too dark, and have plenty of water in it, probably. I'll show you what the purpose is. Something like this. That gives me plenty of time to work. Now, I can grab, let's tilt it this way. I'll try and see if I can get this edge still to be painted independently somewhat. Like so. Then we'll go back to our warm-ish mix. Switch to a larger brush. We'll use the red as an in-between to go more towards the cleaner blue, kind of like that. We're going to complete the dark ledge in a second. I'm not too worried about it now, actually. Just want to get something in there that works. And ideally, I would like to get a clean blue by the time we get to the right side of the boat. It was a bit of a confused wash. That's fine. Now, as we reach the bottom, I'm going to darken once again with that kind of a warm, burnt, kind of black color. Here I'm going to add a bit of phthalo. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to approach the next stages of this wash. It'll be a bit of a challenge, I feel like, but we'll see. That was a very confused wash. I didn't paint it the way I would ideally want to, but that's fine. This is such a strong contrast, like when I filmed the video, and you'll see it's a very similar subject, but it was so much easier when all I have to do is just paint from, like I can look at the painting from an inch away, and just paint in complete silence. Such a different experience. I don't know why, I feel like it becomes more challenging for me to narrate as I paint. So that side's gonna be a little darker. And then, so this should be lighter. Now I'm totally gonna ruin it. Worst case, we'll paint another one. But what happens if we'll do what you call a Hail Mary and just go over it, try and lighten it up a bit. Let's see what will happen. Because I didn't want to go as dark. I wanted to start with fresh wash, but the top confused me. That was a really annoying wash. I may have to do another version. Yeah, there's no escaping it now. Nah. May have to just paint another one here on the other side. We'll see about that. I may just do the boat and that's it. We'll let it dry for now. We'll let it dry and I'll do another wash over it because it's too light anyway, which is fine. That's actually going to play in our favor. But how would I want to do that? I'll have to be patient. I'll have to be patient because if I were just painting this now for myself, it would have been much more straightforward. I know it. So we'll give it a few seconds. We'll see what's up. I have such a clean vision. Like I can show you here alla prima what I would have planned on doing, and it would be so easy to show you. But when it's a part of a big wash, it's so different in a way. Let's do like a fun side experiment. I wanna test some things out. Sorry, I'm keeping a little quiet there. Just have to focus for this bit. And then, as I move here, I'll start adding more of that blue, but gradually. So that's more of the vision of course it's messy, right? But that's more of the closer to the vision I had in mind when I pictured this first wash. And then if we combine it with the shadow underneath, like so, that dark shadow will allow us some more time to plan out the next wash. I can even already feed this part with a bit of a shadow. I can even do this if I want to. Even get the ropes here pretty much in the same go. And then probably I can even start layering the French ultramarine underneath on this side. And of course the water's not here, so this is sometimes what I'll do if I feel like the painting did not allow me to fully figure it out. I'll do a separate almost example for myself. You'll see the video I filmed for YouTube as well. You'll see it. It's a very similar subject, and I handled it there exactly how I wanted. You might have seen the post on Instagram again. A bit of clean yellow here. But yeah, that's more of how I would envision that wash. And then we can wrap it up with this kind of I would even add a bit of blue to that. I don't know why this wash confuses me so much now. It was so much easier to... I'll show you. I actually have it here. This felt much more like smooth sailing, forgive the pun, the, what do you call it? The boat pun. But yeah, this felt so much more, you know, straightforward. But in any case, let's let the boat dry, work a bit on the horizon, see where it gets us. Worst case, you know, we'll either do another one or quit while we're ahead. So I'd actually, let's try it out here. So this is too green. I'm gonna need a bit of red. Sorry, I'll look at the message. I'll look at the messages real fast. Let it dry for a bit. Oh, Deborah, we were here. Your hair dryer is quite quiet. Okay, that's good. That's good. Flowy Bobby, this is my SMR. Original Sissy, sorry, not sure why the message was retracted. Flowy Bobby, thank you so much for the donation, much appreciated. Oh my god, I'm a dummy, I totally forgot to write a message. I meant to write thank you for going live, I love watching your videos. Thank you so much. And Elias, I struggle all the time with these issues while working on a project. I feel so connected to this live session. Yeah, I think I had too much and then this problem. Yeah, and when you just look at what you have at hand, it works out usually better. I can even continue just the blue above it and it will put it in a really nice balance. I can already tell if I just do this bit right here, it'll make even more sense, you know. Of course my proportions are a little off, but you get the point. A lot of it is so abstract in its nature in some ways, you know. So you'll get something like this, maybe even with some of the darker areas inside it. Other area, you know. You can add a background to that. We can do that later on just for fun. But yeah. Hello from Northern Virginia. I love to learn from you, huge fan. Thank you so much, Cici. Katerina, so far my drawing on this is going okay. Yeah, I have a tendency to draw really fast, so usually I'll draw faster than most people. Let's do the background. I just want to figure out like what color that is. That is such a neutral grayish. Let's see. I'm gonna check in Photoshop because I'm curious now. Oh, Photoshop was closed. That's annoying. So we'll give it a second to load. It looks like a gray to me, but I want to confirm where exactly it is. Let's see here. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a super gray. Let me show you. I was seeing it pretty accurately, actually. So if I grab all of this blue, it's quite close, but I need a bit more red. And even a bit of yellow. I'm gonna add some Carbazole Violet. Will make mixing easier. And a bit of blue. Yeah, that's close. So the color I'm seeing is this exact thing here for the background. So I'm just gonna place that in. We'll see how it works out. Of course, I'm glazing it over a different color, so a lot of it will depend. Don't worry, I'm going to straighten down the lower kind of section. Let me take this out, get the darks there behind. And I love that they travel up due to the wetness. We'll try and make something out of this one. We'll see where it goes. the thing that, like, I don't care if I don't really have a plan, but the thing is I had such a clean plan in mind and still I wasn't really able to, you know, execute it the way I wanted to. Yeah. And now we'll go even darker just for a second, where we truly want, because I see some foliage, I see some interesting details, so we can place those. Where you really want to confirm that it's going to stay and not dissipate, mainly. There we go. I think this should hold on quite nicely, and then we'll probably flip it around and put the nice little reflection there. It's kind of reaching all the way down to here, but it stops a little before it doesn't touch the edge of land, so that's going to be an interesting effect. Carol, thank you so much. Yeah, if you can learn from my mistakes, that's great too. I'm actually happy I have that other video because you'll see a very similar situation and me actually handling it more like I want to. The main deal breaker here is just this went way too dark. That's the main thing. Even this isn't. This should be darker, if anything. Now it could fall into balance once I darken this a little more, if I'm lucky, but I'm not sure it'll work. I'm really not sure. We'll do some kind of a warm to cool wash after this dries, and we'll try and figure it out. Let me actually mute this for a second, dry it flat, and then we'll continue. I want to speed it up, just the drying. Okay, as good as it gets. Marjorie, sorry to hear. I hope you can still hear me kind of well. I'll in a few minutes I'll switch back to the mic and then you'll be able to hear me well. Let me try something. We'll see how it goes. I have an idea. I'll need probably some clean space for this. Maybe I'll be able to get away with doing it this way. Who knows? I'm trying to just leave a sliver of a highlight here, manually. No wet and wet, no nothing. Kind of darkening it as I go along. Bit of a strange way to do it. We'll see how it goes. Then other side, we'll stick to an orange, I think. And a black. Let's see what happens. Actually, let's try it out this way. Just to mention, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going with whatever. But hopefully that creates at least a bit of a better separation there. You know, I just don't feel like I was able to bring out the impression I was after. That's the thing that bugs me. I was sure I had a much cleaner impression of this. Turns out I didn't. That's fine. That's the thing that annoys me a bit. It's not like a failure or anything. It's more about a failed experiment. One single experiment that's kind of failed, but that's fine. Feels a little, like an inch closer to what I kind of imagined, but still not quite there. Let's see now. So this goes here. There's a knot. There's this part there. And then as it gets to the water, we're going to start getting these little ripples right here that I should have gotten in the bottom of the boat too. That's fine. There's a little bit of a ripply impression there. Let me try and enhance some of it. And then maybe let's do the part that disappears, so that if anything, the ripples look like ripples. I actually quite like the way they turned out, at least. See, this little separate part here does a lot of heavy lifting, let's just say. We can do maybe one more here, kind of like that. There we go. Then make it a little lighter, just to have a bit on this side. No, that's way too light. What am I thinking? That's not even gonna be visible. You need it to be a little lighter, but not as light. There we go. Yeah, I'll let that go. Okay, so a step closer. Now, can I rotate? Yes, I can. Let's get that. Hey, John, how are you doing? Very happy this helps, Carol. Thank you so much. Sorry, I have a long quiet in this one because I really have to concentrate at parts of the process. I'm going to try and get some clean water here. Clean water from the well. So because we have a smooth up top here, I'm going to start with clean water so that I have some distance to run with a soft transition, you'll see here. So I pre-wet, and then I bring in that kind of a gray mix that has essentially everything, all the colors we've been using so far, so that we get a smooth transition on one end, and then we can continue with what we've got here, close to the shoreline, but not touching it fully, like so. I completely lost the feeling of whether I'm vertical, horizontal properly or not, but that's fine. That line you may want to smoothen out a bit more. Let's see if I can get away with, yeah, I can do that. There we go. And then, while it's still a little wet, I'm gonna pour in some of these very obvious specific reflections. See, for some of the taller details, trees, these are really visible. You can do that also in these kinds of placements, where it just feels a little darker, you know. And that will hopefully read as a proper reflection. Once we flip it over, then we'll know, you know. Till then, we're in the dark, lost at sea. But we'll give it a few seconds to dry. Now would be not a good time to flip it. This did leave a bit of a mark, that's my bad. I could have done the pre-wetting a little better, but that's fine. Could have started a little higher, and I used a lot of water, so it did awaken some of the wash, but that's fine. It's not going to be that visible in the grand scheme of things, but something to think about. I was like, I want to be on the safe side, make sure it's a smooth transition. I just used a lot of water to lift it a bit. Okay, so if we flip it, hopefully that makes some sense as a reflection. If you ignore that bit of a line that I lifted there. Again, a bit of a messy process if I'm being honest. One more thing I did want to add, if this is dry, I think it's actually dry. We'll add the lettering and we'll see what happens. So this is another stage where I'll go a little clean, not too much. And we'll start getting this kind of a dirty brown color for the letters. Let's see what these end up looking like. I don't even know what it says, maybe lavage? I don't know, I'll try. It's probably a part of a word that we're not seeing fully. Now the only real reason why I even want to include this text, so let's speak strategically, is so that I can show its reflection in the water. That's my main, it's gonna be the main use for this text. That I would have probably changed otherwise. Something like this. Now sometimes I like to do that, make it look a little dirty, rusty. Sometimes it'll be too much, so we have to bring some of it back. I kind of exaggerated there. Let's bring more red. You could go with an extreme and actually use a much darker red than it actually is. It will still look fine. Let's do something like this. And then we can do the exact same thing in the water, only more ripple-y. A little more muted, I would say. something like this, just to hint at it. Yeah, then I think we're good. I don't know if I want to include that dark. I'll probably... Nah, we'll leave it like that. So yeah, not really sure. I mean, from afar it looks decent enough, but that was a messy process. So if you look at it in the small camera, right, kind of looks nice from afar. It does have a bit of a feel to it, but I don't know. You let me know your thoughts. Let's I want to switch over there. Maybe I can scan it and show it to you on the screen. Anyways, I love it, Liron. I can see the technique used on how your process of recovery has given a unique piece. Yeah, very often it's going to be a process of recovery as you describe it. See, here's another one. Colors are a little more clean, a little more independent. Actually, let's try. This is going to be fun. Let's add the water around this. Almost imagine like we already have the boat. Or just adding the water. We don't have much room around it, funny enough, but I'll just go with what we have and we'll see what we get. So first, this is kind of a neutral. Kind of warm. Let's add a bit of warmth up top. And as we move down, start bluing it up. It's interesting how sometimes when you add a background to a finished subject, it almost can make sense. Now it's a very light. I'm actually going to lighten it a bit, but keep it clean. It's those kinds of fun experiments you can do as a break from a serious painting, especially if it gave you some trouble, you know, and just see what it looks like at the end. You can also just go ahead and cover the shadow if you want to get some flow there, and if the shadow needs to, or reflection needs to be darker anyway. So you'll do something like this, you know. Just makes it look more like water. And there you have it. So we have two weird examples, but completely different, you know, approaches or processes. This one that we put a little more time into, it looks a little more, of course, nuanced and subtle, but the colors here, so I was aiming for something more clean like this that I kind of lost here. But of course, that's the real one. The other one is just kind of a side experiment to the side experiment. John, there's masking fluid for watercolors. It would help you isolate the boat when you paint the background, though I never use any. Yeah, if I'm using masking fluid or masking tape, there's a very specific way I do it. I don't like it normally, but if I do, it's really about painting all the way to the line. So if I have, let's say, because it's dry, so I'll have, let's say, this line here that let's say I put a masking tape here, and so this stayed light, or masking fluid, so this stayed paper white. Then when you come back, you have to really make sure you paint close to the dry edge. That's one of the things I don't like as much about masking fluid, especially for masking large shapes. If it's small highlights that are going to stay white, that's cool. I don't see the purpose as much of masking a large area. It just doesn't work as well for me. Of course, you know, it could make some aspects of this process easier, but in the overall impression I get from it is I don't like it as much. You see a bit of blue coolness around. Let's see if I can add a bit of it here, around here, and darken it a bit. Just felt like there's a bit of that there. And then smoothen it out a bit. I don't know, just felt a little coolness there. But yeah, a lot of processes will be messing up and then doing a bunch of stuff trying to fix it. You can do a few very fun gimmicky things, or not so gimmicky. by adding some of these highlights. So for example, we have the ropes here going over the boat. You can do this kind of a thing. Rub off some of the white to keep it light. Same goes here in the reflection. See, something like that. To show where the, and this will actually read it quite well. Same goes for this here, it wraps around the edge. So you'll do something like this, right? And again, you can take some of it out, and then you can also come back with some dark paint. That's something I'll often do, and justify the highlight. So you'll go right next to it, you'll just add a bit of a shadow. Oops, went over it a bit. You get the point. Just to justify it. If I lost too much of it, I can bring it back, like so. Yeah, I don't see too much of that going on, just a bit. There's the reflection here too, of course. Something like that. It will read really well, and it will look like, you know. Oh, and one more thing you could do is add some lights here in the background. This is something I show in the YouTube video. You'll see it. I'm using John Brilliant and not my white gel pen, but just to kind of speed things up a bit. You can create the impression, you know, it's a town or a city, and that was a big part of what, if you saw my Instagram post, that was a big part of what made me even want to paint this scene to begin with. I really like that. It felt like, you know, we're doing a little cruise on the water, and it's a very quiet and nice, peaceful time. You see the town in the background. But yeah, this is pretty much what I have in terms of the process. Let's take it to the other side of the table. I'm gonna scan this and show you, and we'll talk more closely here. So, give me just a second. There we go. Let's switch. That's better. Let me know if you can't hear me or if there's trouble. I will show you all of these. Let's start scanning the first one. Actually, let me turn on this microphone just so that you can hear me from afar. And we'll look at some of these like final kind of scan. I want to be able to show you properly on the screen. This is the one you'll see on Saturday, I believe. It's going to be Saturday's video. Not Saturday, sorry, next Tuesday next week. And this is the one we kind of did real fast there. So let's scan it. Just real fast. And if you have any questions, it's a great time to ask. So I'm going to be looking at these. Timothy, what if you painted over the boat reflection? Yes, that is possible. I didn't really need to do it in the fuller version, but on this one, it's pretty much what we did, right? Maybe you're referring to this process. I'm not sure. Or, you know, darkening it to, because right now the value is quite similar. It's quite close to the water, where it should be a little distinct and darker. But it's sometimes in the very thin nuances. It's now past midnight and an early morning start. Okay, yeah, so you definitely feel free to dip out, everyone, whenever you feel like it. Once I get the paintings, documents, whatever, maybe I'll switch to the better mic, so you will forgive me if the audio is kind of wonky. Thank you, Carol. A good time for... Yeah, Annalise, this is the same time. Pretty consistent with the times of these live streams. Let me just crop out the white that it scanned. We'll show you. Okie doke. So let's bring in the final result. Scanned documents, scanned document. Oh, I put it in the folder.
I put it in the right place. There we go. Not bad, I would say. Let me minimize it so we can actually see something. Still far from the photo. Let's just put it here. Still far from the photo. Some parts are darker. Actually, the scan isn't doing it much justice. Let me fix the values. I think it's a little closer that way. There we go. The water could be darker now that I'm seeing it. Of course, if I'm going to compare it side by side like that, I'm going to find tons of problems. One thing I do really like is that the tip of the boat to the... let me see if I can point in the direction. Right there. Straight line. The tip of the boat. I can just show you here. I'm being ridiculous. This I do like. Yeah. It's hard to describe how much cleaner the paintings look in real life. It's always the case. I don't know why. No matter how good quality you scan it, you know. Blaze 2022. Hi, I'm new to this channel. I hope you're having a really great day. Thank you so much. Sorry about the noise. 1 second. I'm gonna switch over to the good mic. There we go. Thank you so much, Blaze. Much appreciated. Timothy, I meant the other painting, the main one, because I've learned from you, if you use thicker paint, you might be able... Oh, yeah. You can. I just didn't see the point of doing that. You can technically. Yeah, I do it all the time. You could cover it a dry, slightly darker paint with a lighter paint. You could do it technically. Wasn't sure why I would do it while doing it, but yeah, it is definitely possible. I don't know if it will lead to a better result. Alexa, wow, it's not identical, but still looks pretty amazing. Thank you. You were too hard on yourself. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. Because I had this thing, it was so clear in my mind. So ideally, I would like the technique from the first one, but the colors from the looser one. Closer to what I had in mind. By the way, Katerina, you saw my reply, right? I answered your email. Mine turned out, I can say okay. I don't know why, but it doesn't have much saturation. Yeah, I did a lot of mixing. So if you followed my process, you might have ended up over mixing. John, just keep at it. I just started drawing again after, let's see, I was 50, now 47. And I'm still rusting, but getting better. Yep. These boat paintings are beautiful. I've been stuck in a rut. I need help in finding a subject to paint. Yeah, you know, it's not really about the subject. It's more about like how you feel about it. If you like something and it inspires you to paint it, there are plenty of ways. There are plenty of different subjects that will bring it out in you, you know. Wish I could just pin it in the air like this next to me. But yeah. Jacqueline, I don't use masking fluid. It's too frustrating for me. Yeah, the couple of times I tried it was okay. But yeah. Thank you, Katerina. Jacqueline, I always like the painting more than the photo, probably because it has your artist touch. Yeah, thank you. Connie, you don't sell a piece side by side. Yeah, definitely. No, that's never really the thing. For most of my paintings that I really, really like, if you put them side by side, there's tons of differences. So yeah, it really is. It doesn't mean much. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I wonder if I should do another glaze over the entire background because it is darker. I think it'll put the boat in a better balance, but yeah, it's okay. Let me know if you want me to do that. I can get away with it quite easily, actually. All you have to do is just wash from top to bottom and blend it out with clean water here, because here it's dark enough. Let me know if you want me to do that. If you will, I'll go back and do it real fast. Patagonia, Argentina. Oh, thank you. So you actually live in Patagonia, Andrea. Oh, how are you? Oh, yeah. I remember visiting there. Yeah, that's beautiful. It took me a moment to like, oh yeah, Patagonia. It's such a beautiful place. Yes. I guess it's all the south of Argentina, right? Yep. It's so funny. I really like. So if there's one section I really, really like, it's
it's this square here. It just works for me, you know. This ripple, this little mini ripple, and these, but this one too. Now I notice I really like that transition. Looks good. But yeah, let's clear up some space. I'm gonna remove this and make the painting larger. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything you want to discuss, feel free to. Now's the time, and then we'll probably move closer to wrapping it up. My stomach feels much better, so that's good. It's been a long week. It feels like it was very tiring, so I'm gonna definitely just stare after this one. Let me know what you're working on. What are you painting right now? If you're struggling finding a good reference to paint, again, I think it's more about finding something that one thing about it attracts you to paint it. That's usually how I have it happen. Yeah, have a great rest of the day, Katerina, or is it night? Sorry, forgot. So yeah, sometimes you'll find a little detail that really compels you to paint it. So for this one, for example, it was really this little area here. That was really the thing that made me want to paint it. Let me show you another example. One I shared today, right? You saw it probably. It was this for me, right? This little area here. That's gonna be Saturdays, right? Saturday's video. This one looks quite close to the reference in terms of colors, which is good because it means my colors did improve. By the way, on a larger scale, my colors did improve. They're getting closer to what I'm looking for. Just incorporating that into the technique is the challenge. Jacqueline, I'm sitting in my doctor's office right now, praying for good health for everyone. Yes, for you too. I hope it's nothing serious. It's just a routine thing. Thank you so much. Chimefti, I'm on a project of painting nice buildings of my city. Oh, Saloniki. That's we call it Saloniki here. Well, that's beautiful. Yeah. We hope to visit Greece, actually. Don't know where exactly we'll be in the next couple of months. Hopefully, we'll be able to visit. Yeah, what else is interesting? Let's see. Same goes for these, right? See this? If you have a clean line between them, it should be good. You have a grayish buffer, it should be good. This also shows it a bit. Warm, gray, a little cooler. Usually you're okay. This is why sometimes I just like to use clean water, because it's almost like the same buffer thing. Marjorie, I have a dresser full of reference pictures, and at times I couldn't find one that spoke to me. Yeah, that can happen. Sometimes I wonder if you look at a lot of pictures printed, at some point they all kind of blend together, and maybe the counter intuitive move would be to look online for photos, you know. One more thing maybe to try is to go outside, look around, see if you find something that you really want to paint in front of you, or maybe just grab a fruit or vegetable or something, place it on the table and try to paint that. I did that too in the past, sometimes when I was a little stuck. Delia, what is the location of that last painting you showed? The buildings. I love that scene. So I do have the reference photo, but for some reason it's not tagged for location. If anyone in the chat knows, that could be really helpful. I can send you the original reference photo, and you can see if you figure it out. Maybe by the file name I can tell. Just called town. Let's see if I can figure it out. Yeah, you like that kind of view, right? It's very relaxing. I like that a lot. I also wrote on Instagram, I try to remove any instance of modernity. It has no, you know, power lines, nothing like that. Just the structures. I don't know, I really like it that way, clean. I cannot search editor's choice. It was an editor's choice photo. Maybe I'll be able to find the link to the photo. Is this, by the way? I'll share it in the chat. You can see, maybe do your own research. Oh yeah, it has a name on it. I just cut out the name. It's called Bergdorf. Okay, cool. I don't know why it didn't show it to me earlier. In the file name, images. Bergdorf, probably, I don't know, Germany. Sounds like Germany. Yep, I think this is the place. You know what? No, it doesn't look exactly the same. Bergdorf, um, town, mountains. Let's see if I can find the exact place. Is it this one? I think it might be. Yeah, I think that's the place. It's Spain? Could it be Spain? Weird. I see too many Bergdorfs. I can't tell which one it is. Oh man. Well, we at least have a name for the town. Now it's all about just Googling and searching and looking for it. So yeah. I hope that that trail can help you find it. Let's see here. Team FT really would be happy to show you around, and Chalkidiki is an hour's drive from amazing beaches. Oh, cool. Yeah, that would be the plan, to just a resort kind of thing. Let me actually Google that. I wasn't familiar with Chalkidiki. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Yeah, that looks fantastic. Yeah, Greece is a very popular destination. From here to it's quite close. Yeah, I'll let you know if I do end up visiting. Feel free to send me an email, by the way, because I'm not sure I link your username to an email, so if you want me to update you. Marjorie, that's exactly why I did plein air. Yes. Oh, you're running a local urban sketchers group. That's fun. You have some wonderful views there for that kind of a thing. Gina, oh man, I missed the live. I'll share to watch the. Yeah, Gina, it was a very ups and downs in terms of the painting process, but I think we ended up with something fun. At least something fun. Feel free to check it out later. I'll probably do one off video. I'll probably go over everything, darken the whole background, just skip the hull of the boat, and probably the shadow too. Or maybe not. We'll see. But I'll do another passing over it and see if it puts it in better balance, and then I'll share on Instagram. John, I think I found you in a drawing. I watched Todd McFarlane. If you know who's Todd, and I just watched how he does the webbing and restart. I'm not sure what you mean, but Todd McFarlane. That's an artist, I think, right? I mean, you said it's an artist. I think I'm familiar with. Oh yeah, it's the president of Image Comics. Yeah, I'm familiar with Todd McFarlane, of course. I think is he the brother of Seth MacFarlane? I'm pretty sure he is. Or is it completely two different people? I'm actually not sure. But yeah, I know Todd McFarlane. Great art too. Doing trees. Yeah, trees are very freeing too. Love your art and videos very much. Thank you so much, Gina. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll probably do this one next couple of days and share with you, because I like the way I went very dark at the bottom, but I feel like it was a little too immediate. Here it's a little more gradual, just as comparison. So the way I would fix that is just glaze from top to bottom. Start with the same colors, pretty much, like red, yellow, and then as I reach the area that's dark enough, I'll just use clean water all the way down to the bottom, just to help the paint move, ease into the dark enough area. Maybe I'll cover the dark area too, just with a very thin glaze, because you don't need much here. Sometimes it's really amazing how just a touch tells the story better, you know. By the way, my scanner is really bad with blue colors. I don't know why. The blue in the hull, it always makes these kinds of blues disappear. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up for today. We'll try and have something a little more planned out in terms of the painting process. I don't know. Maybe something simpler that will click a little better. I mean, this felt like a simple enough scene, but I don't know why I complicated it so much. You could do this in a much more simplified way as well. You can just rotate it like this and just go from a warm to cool or cool to warm. Do very basic but good washes and still get a good result. But I'm in such a place where I'm trying to match the colors, match the feel, match the edges and everything. I think my my eyes are more tuned towards nuances I missed before, and because I'm more in tune with them, I'm trying to do them, but I'm not as used to. So it's just harder. It's just more complex. It's so funny because it almost feels like moving back, a few steps, just because that's how it is. That's actually what's going on when that happens. Always this weird growth spiral. Way too loud, the cars outside. But yeah, almost like a spiral that's learning and relearning, Yeah, Spawn. No on the other. Okay, yes. No on the other dude, yeah. Not related to Seth, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. I hope you gained something out of it. Seeing how you can correct course even when things look a little awkward and strange. Because a lot of paintings, I do have that happen to them in some. Usually it's more minor than here. Usually it's a small peripheral area that's not as important. But by the way, if you've seen the process on Patreon, for those who have, there's a very similar thing happening there, and I managed to somehow get out of it pretty successfully. So yeah, that's just part of the painting process. And the more you pile on it of narrating, thinking about the technical details, it can hurt that thin balance, and yeah, but that's just part of it. I do enjoy the live streams a lot because it allows me to narrate more of what I'm doing in a more special way, I think, than filming a video. So that's very useful, actually. I think it has a different educational value, let's say, right? Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, everyone. Much, much appreciated. If there's anything we missed, feel free to. We'll do another one like this next week. And this painting looks really good in real life. I have to say, looks so much better than this scan. And yeah, feel free to email me too if you have any questions. Any burning questions. May take me some while to answer. Sorry about that. And John, I will get back to you, I promise. With that, I will see you the next time. Till then, take care and keep painting. And there will be a video on Saturday and next Tuesday. I have it all lined up, so I hope you'll find these useful as well. I'll talk to you again real soon.